Welcome to the exam room with Nurse Alice. Hello, friends, and welcome to the exam room with Nurse Alice, the show where we take a closer look at things going on in the world today, everything from health and wellness to love and lifestyle to politics and pop culture. So get ready to live life well. So this week's Hot Topics is brought to you by Nurse Approved. When you're looking to travel and do so safely, make sure it's Nurse Approved. You can visit their website at imnurseapproved.com for 20% off using the code The Exam Room. You can get your face masks, your travel kits, your first aid kits, all that by visiting imnurseapproved.com. So I know you couldn't hear it there, but congratulations are in order for our president and vice president-elect, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Now, while that was not the original video that played Shorty Low as Joe Biden was entering the stage, we do love us some Shorty Low and the several memes and graphics and videos that are out there floating around during this presidential election. And speaking of social media, it's definitely been like its own TV network. I mean, garnering our attention. But speaking of videos, we had someone write into the show. Wilford Johnson of Savannah, Georgia wrote asking, who made the Biden versus Trump Avengers America Endgame video? Now, if you haven't seen it, check this out.
Every vote must be counted. No one's going to take our democracy away from us. Avengers!
Please welcome to the show the filmmaker and creator of this, John Hande Piet. Hi, John. How are you?
Hey, good to be here. I'm good. Thanks.
Oh, my God. I'm so glad we were able to grab you. I know you've been super busy. I mean, man, this video is amazing. But I have to ask, what was your inspiration to actually create this video and use this actual Avenger scene?
I kind of felt like that scene. I mean, I'm a big Marvel nerd, and I feel like that scene met the moment that we're in. It just felt so relevant, and it was really just a spur of the moment inspiration. Like while we were waiting for those votes and going crazy, for me, it was just a way to kind of alleviate that tension for myself. So that's kind of how it all happened.
Oh, good. So you kind of felt it in a sizzle in your spirit, and you created it. But I have to ask, how long did it take to make that?
So I started it at 4 p.m. on Friday when it was looking like there was some hope, and it was looking like, okay, this thing's probably in the bag. And I didn't finish it. I pulled an all-nighter, which I didn't know I could still do. But I finished it at 7:30 a.m. the next day. And I kind of posted it and was like, let me get some sleep now. But it kind of caught fire right away, so I didn't get sleep. But yeah, it was like an all-night affair.
Okay, so, but we're passionate about things. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like it. You're just going and going. But right. I have to ask, so I don't even know if you got any sleep, but because when did you realize that it had gone viral?
So, I kind of made it for my friends on Facebook. I don't tweet that much, but I kind of felt like, let me tweet this. It just felt like something I should tweet. And I posted it on my Facebook, and then all my friends just start commenting and sharing, and it just kept going and going. And I feel like I tried to, get some sleep because it was probably 8 a.m. I was delirious. And I was like, let me check my phone again. And it had like 400 views or something like that. Okay. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty fast. It's been on for like 5 minutes and it has 400 views. And then from there, it was exponential. Like it just kept growing and growing and growing. And it was just, from there, it just really took off. And I kept getting pings on my phone. So I definitely couldn't get any sleep.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a good reason to not get sleep. I mean, I've actually seen some of the Avenger actors even retweet your videos. So have they reached out to you yet?
I've been reached out to by a lot of people, and I have to admit that I haven't gone through all the DMs yet. It's so many, it's so much, but I've definitely responded to a few, a couple celebs in there. I won't mention anybody, but
Okay.
yeah, it's been a while.
It's just us in the roomies.
I mean, LeBron retweeted it. That's when my mind exploded. You know what I mean? Once LeBron retweeted it, it was just like, one of my friends let me know. One of my childhood friends texted me, and he was like, "Are you ready, for your head to explode?" And he sent me LeBron's retweet. And then from there, it was like Mark Hamill, who's Luke Skywalker. That one really hit me in the feels for sure, because he's a hero of mine. And it's just crazy.
That's pretty amazing. And you are indeed a filmmaker. So, I mean, now with all this new attention, I mean, I'm sure you were doing fabulous work already, but now to really be under the spotlight, what's next for you, John? And how can we support you here in the exam room?
Just following my social media is a good start. I always post like what I'm up to. And I'm working on a couple scripts right now. I'm developing a few projects. I was working full time up until just a couple of months ago. And I don't know. There were a lot of things happening in the world. Obviously, it's been a crazy year, and I just kind of felt like it was time for me to double down on my passions and my filmmaking career. And I quit my job, and I'm glad I did, because this wouldn't have happened otherwise. And so I'm just developing my projects, my feature film documentary, and a couple of other films. So I'll be tweeting and sharing those on my social media and how people can support. And that's what I'll be focusing on. And other freelance editing projects to help support any causes. I know there's going to be a Georgia runoff. Georgia's still super important right now for the Senate. So I might make a follow-up. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to follow this, but I'm thinking about it. I have some ideas twirling, so who knows?
John, you just gave us something. You know how the audience is. They want more and they want more. I mean, because this is great content, and I salute you. I love that you're doing this work. We are going to continue to support you. So, guys, please make sure to visit John's website at jhp-film.com and follow him on Instagram at jhandom. John, we are going to be supporting you. We love you. We want to, whatever we can do, let us know. But I think it's very, very important that we support independent creators, because this is where the magic happens. I mean, you're following your passion, and, it wasn't like you were on the clock, instructed to do something. You did something because you felt it in your spirit, and it was amazing. So we'll be following you. Thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, guys. Okay, so let me round out the hot topics. So, I just wanted to add, I thought it was a fun fact to share that while we, saw John's video, there was actually a real life assembly of the Avengers with Kamala Harris. And you can see the actors there. And it was for a duo event. She was celebrating her birthday, which was October 20th. And then it was also a fundraiser event. So safe to say that Kamala Harris really is an Avenger. So boom, there you have it. So again, thank you to Wilford for submitting your question, and for our sponsors at Nurse Approved. They'll be sending you and your family travel kits. And if you or someone has a question or comment and would like us to talk about it in the exam room, you can email your questions, comments down there. You see the ticker, boom, 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 right? At examroomquestions@gmail.com. And we would love to talk about it in the exam room. Now, today we have a great lineup for you. We have Peter Pankey, aka Peter Gunz from Love and Hip Hop, and the new host of Cheaters. He'll be coming, talking to us a little bit later, as well as Carlos King, executive producer of OWN's new docuseries, Behind Every Man. He'll be with us. But first, let's turn the attention back on us and our well-being and our mental health, because more and more of us are at home. We're consuming more media, and in different ways, including on social media, Netflix, TV, and through our various devices. So it's no surprise that it's impacting our feelings, our thoughts, and our behaviors. And at least that's what the experts say. So, but enter media psychology. So guys, this is a new branch, a new specialty field in psychology that focuses on the interaction of human behavior, media, and technology. And so these experts are studying a variety of ways on how media affects us positively, negatively, and all of these great things. And here to tell us more about it is writer, producer, and CEO of Omni Media and media psychologist himself, Dr. Corey Emanuel. Hey, Dr. Corey.
Hey, Nurse Alice, how you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for stepping into the exam room. I got a question though.
Okay.
Media psychology. I mean, that's a new term. I'm familiar with psychology, but you take media psychology. So what is media psychology, and why is it so important, especially now?
That is the $1,000,000 question. So simply put, media psychology is looking at how does mass media impact our behavior. So we're looking at TV, we're looking at when youth play violent video games, how does that show up or shape their behavior? We look at film, we're looking at, how does representation affect how we look at ourselves? If we have a character on TV that looks like us, does that boost our self-esteem? Does that boost our confidence? When we look at social media, particularly when we think about 2020 and we see all the activism happening, how does that affect our well-being? So it really is looking at a number of different ways that mass media influences us.
Okay. I was going to say, because when I was an undergrad, which I did at San Diego State, go Aztecs, I do majored in nursing and psychology. And at the time it was organizational psychology or just human psychology. We didn't have this specialty because we didn't have this type of media or technology. So it sounds like it's evolving and evolving very quickly, especially with everything that's going on.
Absolutely.
Now, I have 4 points specifically that I want to get to and address, because we hear a lot about the negative impact of media. And I'm not discounting that. There are some things that we do need to be cautious about, the negative parts of it. But what, if any, positives are there when it comes to media? I mean, you had 4 points there that I kind of wanted to run through. So the first one is shape our health attitudes. How does media positively shape this?
For sure. Well, we think about, again, a year like 2020 where we have this pandemic happening, right? And the news is where we're going to seek information. When we think about how our perceptions are shaped, the media is a very much go-to source for that type of information. So, when we think about how susceptible am I to COVID, how severe is it, we can quickly go to the internet. We can quickly, go to the CDC website and get factual information, that perhaps generations before us, they wouldn't have had that sort of instant information, and we still have to be critical when we analyze that and make sure that information is factual and based in evidence. But yeah, just to have that type of information at our fingertips is very valuable.
Okay, thank you. So, and then number 2, so impacting our confidence and self-esteem. Now, I'm very familiar with the negative piece of this, but positively, how does media impact this?
Yeah, again, thinking about what I was talking about earlier, when we talk about representation and being able to go to the television, go to a movie, think about Black Panther, the impact that Black Panther had on society in terms of defying stereotypes. So, the media, again, great for serving information, not only to, for example, with Black Panther, Black people, but also informing white audiences about who we are and what we're capable of.
Okay, that was a good one. Black Panther.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to our king there. Now, our next one is positive identity images. So is that kind of along the line with what you just spoke about, seeing those positive images of people?
Absolutely. Thinking about particularly adolescents as they're growing up, like when we think about those middle school years, we know how critical those years are in terms of shaping our identity and informing who we are. We look again to television and characters and the stories being told, particularly Black youth in particular, look to these representations on televisions to learn more about their experience and who they are and inform their experiences as they're evolving into young adults.
And I think, and I've seen, and you guys have probably seen them as well, a lot of the memes going around, especially with Kamala Harris, our first Black and Asian vice president. I'm seeing pictures of her walking in the shadows like a little girl. So, and I've seen, fathers talking to their daughters about, who Kamala is and how they can be vice president. So I agree with that. I definitely see our youth, how it's impacting our youth. And interesting though, I mean, we didn't have, well, not that I'm telling my age, y'all, but I didn't really have this when I was growing up. So I think it goes a long way because when I grew up, if it wasn't in my immediate vicinity, I didn't see it. Right. So now, thanks to technology and media, people can see things around the world in these images. So if they're like, if here in the United States, we have Kamala Harris, but there might be someone all the way in Africa that's watching and can see that this Black woman is, a vice president of the United States. So I think that says a lot. And then we have another one here. And I think this is all themed together, but I love it. Perceptions of if they can do it, so can I.
Absolutely. I mean, you just took it away. When we think about literally what just happened in this election, the first African American vice president, again, you're talking about not only when we think about gender roles and informing, young Black women what they're capable of doing, women in general, what we can do in terms of professional roles, television, and being able to see that woman on screen, to see her give that speech. And as you said, seeing the memes go around of little Black girls touch the television screen to see themselves in that way. Again, boosting their self-esteem, their confidence. All of these things add to the total vitality of a person's, sense of who they are.
Yes. And so if anybody's watching, I am a nurse. So we only less than 10% of nurses are African American, Black. And so listen, if you don't see anyone in your neighborhood who's a nurse, you are watching here. I am a nurse. I would love to mentor and be a role model for other people who aspire to be nurses, because, in some places they don't have the means or have the drive or the incentive or the push to become the things that they don't see. So this is very important. Representation matters a lot. Now, let me just segue just a little bit. So we talked about some of the positive things that media and technology bring to us. Now, what are things that we can do to protect that, to optimize those happy thoughts, positive thinking while we're consuming media? Because there's some stuff out there that's a little, be damaging.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, going back to what I said at the very top about what are we mostly seeking when it comes to mass media right now? And it's news information, right? So I think we've gotta be cautious about, fake news. I tell people to pause before you post or press send. And again, making sure that you're checking to make sure what am I about to share? Am I going to trigger sort of this collective anxiety and stress among people? So just being mindful about those things. And I tell people to also approach media from a holistic standpoint, meaning that, yes, you need to turn your phone off, down, do not disturb, but step away from it. Make sure that you are eating well, that you've taken time to eat lunch, eat your breakfast, that you're getting enough sleep at night, so you're not falling asleep to TikTok videos every night. There needs to be a balance with all of these things. Yes, you can go to them and get great information, but you also need to be mindful of the way it's affecting your attitude and your behavior and how those things are changing.
So, Dr. Corey, what you're telling me is that I should not, if the phone is in the bed with me, it's a problem. If the phone next to me, I'm spooned up with my phone, that's a problem.
I don't want you falling asleep with it on your chest every night. That's right. What I don't want you to do. Right.
And then you heard the good doctor, pause before you post, because some of y'all put stuff up on there, then you wonder why people are talking about you and why this and that. I think we just need to put a filter. Absolutely. Maybe call your friend, call your homeboy, look, can you proof this post before I send it?
Beautiful.
Overnight.
I love that idea. That's a great strategy.
Before you post.
Great strategy.
I'm going to send you to Dr. Corey. That's what I'm going to do. Now, Dr. Corey, this has been a great conversation. And it's interesting because you're a media psychologist and then writer, content creator as well. So can you tell us about any projects you have on the horizon? And tell us, please, how can we support you here in the exam room?
Absolutely. So just a few weeks ago, I got accepted into an inaugural TV writers pilot program. So I'm really excited about that. I've been working on a script for about 1.5 years now. So the hope is that I will finish that up in this program and start pitching that. And again, my big goal is to transform the way we perceive one another. And I think we can do that through effective storytelling. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, folks can find me across all social media at Corey Emanuel. My website is CoreyEmanuel.com. And if you want some really great information, my Instagram at Corey Emanuel is a great place to go. I'm always trying to disseminate positive information there. So
wonderful, wonderful. We love it. We will be watching, we will be supporting. And I'm actually thrilled that a health professional, will be creating content, because I think in some of the storytelling, although it's good stuff to watch, can sometimes impact our mental well-being unbeknownst to the creators, right? Just not that they mean harm or anything like that, but I think it's good to have the extra lens on there. So I love it. Thank you much, Dr. Corey. Don't be a stranger to the exam room, and we will be in touch with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care.
So guys, as Dr. Corey just shared with us, not all media is bad media. So let's focus on the feel-good media, or rather feel-good TV to be more precise. So stepping into the exam room next is Carlos King. He is CEO of Kingdom Reign Entertainment, which has produced some of our favorite shows, Hollywood Divas, The Next 15, My Super Sweet 16, and he's EP'd and co-EP'd on many of Bravo's great shows, from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, as well as New Jersey, Candy's Wedding, I Dream of Nene, and Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And he has a new show, which just premiered this past Saturday on OWN, which is spotlighting strong Black women behind successful men. Take a look here.
Saturday, November 7th.
This will probably be the first time I've spoken in public.
Discover exclusive stories of the phenomenal women behind every man. A brand new star-studded OWN series featuring Usher, Kirk Franklin, Neo, Wyclef Jean, and DJ Envy.
What I put her through, yes, it definitely should have been a rap.
I am who I am because of Tammy Franklin.
Hosted by Melody Holt, Behind Every Man. Series premiere November 7th, 10/9 Central.
Welcome to the show, Carlos King. Oh my gosh. Hi, Carlos.
How's it going?
It's going good. So I love this new show. So I have to ask, and it's just because it seems really timely with Kamala Harris and, Black women tipping the scale when it came to putting our new president in office. But I have to ask, what was your inspiration for creating this type of show?
It's just what you said. We live in a world right now where the conversation is about the Black woman. And that has always been the bread and butter of my career. Black women have ushered me behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. And I wanted to do this show as an homage, if you will, to the many Black women who are behind, beside, in front of some of the most successful Black men in the world. And we got an amazing opportunity to do that on the Oprah Winfrey Network, which makes it, really thrilling and fulfilling, right, for the audience to see.
So we love this, and kind of what you alluded to in your answer. Behind every great man is a great woman, whether it's your mother, your sister, your daughter, your first grade teacher, whoever it may be. So my question for you is, who is that person for you?
Listen, my mother, my success in my career is also an homage to my mom, who, while she was alive, she definitely was somebody who made sure that I followed my dream. She pushed me to my destiny. She was my cheerleader, my mentor in that respect. My mother was a real housewife in Detroit, my hometown. So to be able to work on these shows that are about strong women, and the voice of a woman, my mother is the reason, why I'm able to do what I do in this career that I love so much.
Yes, mothers have very strong presence in our lives, and it's amazing how much they go through, how much they endure, how much they sacrifice to push us to be our best. And so in your new series, I know that we do see a mother-son combination, right? We see Usher and his mom, as well as some other very famous and successful couples on television. Now, my question is, and I don't know how you did your selection, but what are you hoping viewers gain from watching the stories of these duos?
I hope they gain an understanding of knowing who these women are. I have a company that produces unscripted shows, and I do a lot of programming with people who are considered unknowns, and it's the opportunity for their stories to be told, right? For the world to know them. I want these women behind the man, if you will, to be able to tell their stories. Usher's mom, Jonetta Patton, was our premiere episode. And this morning, I got a phone call from Miss Patton, who said that I wanted to call you personally, Carlos, to tell you how much I love the episode. You did a fantastic job. And for me, that was just the icing on the cake for, telling these stories. It was really important for me to always, be the sort of source that Black women are able to use me and use my platform, use my company to be able to tell their stories. And, as you see in these next 4 episodes with Tammy Franklin, Franklin's wife, Crystal Smith, Neo's wife, Claudinette John, Wyclef Jean's wife, and Gia Casey, DJ Emmy's wife. These next 4 episodes, you're going to get to know the woman, and that is going to be astounding.
And I appreciate that because, again, women, sometimes we feel like the unsung heroes because we're so busy working and taking care of everybody else that we're not always stepping into the limelight. We're putting our careers on hold, making sure the children are raised, that, the head of household is taken care of, and we're kind of just behind the scenes and we've never been in front. So I applaud you for, saluting these women and telling their stories. But I do have a question. Just throw this out there. So do you think that you'll create a show where the roles are reversed and that we have women who have sacrificed, men who have sacrificed their time and their careers for women so they can take the spotlight? Because when I'm thinking, if you need some help with casting, I'm happy to help you. But I feel like Pap and Remy, right? Because Pap has been so wonderful at supporting Remy and supporting her through everything that she's gone through. And then as well, Kamala Harris and her new husband, Douglas, because I don't know what life's going to be like as the husband to the vice president, but we're all going to figure that out. It's going to be like a real-time reality show. But I'm starting with those two. I mean, I can't give it all away here. We got to talk about
listen, I definitely would love to franchise this show. Let's see how the ratings do. We just premiered on Saturday, but the goal would be for that, Alice. It would definitely be for us to sort of showcase the men who are behind the women and sort of see what that looks like. Because to your point, when we look at Remy Ma Papoose, when we look at, a lot of the Viola Davis and her husband, when you look at these men who have their own career and they are really supportive of their wives, I think that's another amazing story to be told. So I would love to get the opportunity to do that too.
Yes, because I don't want the brothers to be like, oh, y'all just going to forget about us, like we don't do anything. Yes, y'all, we support you. I know you do your thing. You see me talking to Carlos. I'm going to try to get y'all squared away soon enough. But first, we got to focus on this, right, behind every man. Now, Carlos, you've had an amazing journey, so many shows that we all know and love. So I imagine it hasn't always been easy. So what has your journey been like as a content creator? And do you have any advice for anyone aspiring to do similar type of work?
It hasn't been easy. I don't think anybody that decides to have a career in any field where it takes hard work and constant prayer is not easy for anybody. It definitely wasn't easy for me growing up in Detroit and then moving to New York, wishing and hoping and praying that I'm able to do what I'm doing now. So a lot of sacrifice had to be made. A lot of determination had to be had for that. But the most important thing and the most important advice that I would give people is you have to do the work.
Ooh.
Like when you can't take the elevator to success.
Oh, no.
You gotta take the staircase. It's step by step, because the moment you start at ground level and you just go to the penthouse, you have missed every single step in between, right? And the moment you get to the penthouse suite, you realize you weren't ready, and then you come crashing down. So don't ignore the steps. Stay the course, take the steps, and I promise you, you're going to see the fruits of your labor.
Absolutely. You have to have faith in the things unseen. Keep doing the work. Stay consistent with it. That's another thing. I think people, when you're not seeing the progress that you want to see, you want to give up. You're like, oh, I'm doing something wrong, and abandon ship. And you guys, and I don't know if you've heard this, Carlos, but I've heard that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. I feel that to be very true, even in my own personal journey.
Yeah, and don't let your age define you. Like that's the biggest mistake people can make. Well, I hit 30, I'm old. I'm 40, it's old. No, don't. Whatever you do, hear me out. Do not let your age define where you should be at in your career.
There you go.
You being ready and you taking the necessary steps doesn't mean you have to reach a certain pinnacle of success with your age matching that. Like, It's okay to start over at 30, to start over at 40. The most important thing is happiness has no expiration date.
Absolutely. That is so, so true. Now, Carlos, tell us what's next in store for Carlos King, and how can we here in the exam room support you?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Listen, my job as a content creator, I'm a Black man who owns my own production company. So I'm constantly developing shows, creating shows. We have another show on the Oprah Winfrey Network called Love and Marriage Huntsville. People love that show, which makes me so happy. We're coming back in January, so we're in production right now for that show. And that's in production right now that I can't announce because you know how it is. You sign contracts, and I'm a person where I don't announce anything until the network does it in this case. Yeah. But what I can do to support me is to continue watching my shows. When you're an audience or when you're a part of the consumer and you beg for content that speaks to a different side of Black people, and I'm providing that for the world to see, I need your support. I need your eyeballs on the shows. I need the ratings so that I'm able to continue providing that, so that I'm able to show and prove that Black people really do want to see other outlets of television, and we're able to do that over here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Guys, so we have to support our fellow chocolate men, our Black men, our content creators. We have to. Yeah. We have. He is creating content that we are wanting to watch. So we have Behind Every Man. We have Love and Marriage Huntsville. We got to watch. We got to get the ratings up. We have to support. Tweet, social media, write in, all of those things we got to support. It's so important. And Carlos, these are amazing shows. We are going to definitely continue watching them. And please don't be a stranger to the exam room. And when you have those new shows coming out, we got to talk about it here. We need an exclusive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to do that.
Okay, so guys, thank you so much, Carlos, for joining. Please make sure to follow Carlos King. His Instagram handle is right there. You can see the Carlos King _ or visit his website at kingdombrainent.com. And again, continue to support him in all of the wonderful and amazing work that he's doing. Carlos, best wishes. And you guys make sure to tune in to OWN every Saturday. You see the times there, Behind Every Man on OWN. We got to continue to support our men like this. Okay, so wonderful. So next,
New York to the heart, but got love for all. Line die in the fire where I learned the ball. Uptown is the place where I lay my dome. On the streets of the Bronx where my family.
Okay, guys, so many of you may have known our next guest as Peter Gunz from the 1990 hit single hip-hop anthem, Deja Vu, Uptown Baby. Others of you may know him from Love and Hip Hop, where Peter was most arguably in one of the most talked about love triangles in reality TV history. But for the rest of us, he's Peter Pankey and the new TV host of Cheaters. Take a look here.
Cheaters exposes the torment, distress, and anguish caused by infidelity.
Kidding me, Matthew?
I'm Peter Pankey, a.k.a. Peter Gunz. We were cheaters. This ain't Greco, baby. I know the game. I've been down this road. I was with you.
You don't want to see me, bro. There you go.
Wow. You're beautiful. You're going to get something way better than that. I promise you that.
Watch Cheaters' riveting new season.
Please welcome to the show, Peter Gunz. Hi, Peter. How's it going?
How you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us. I've been a fan. I've been watching you for quite some time, listening to your music as well. And I have to say, when the announcement was made that you would be the new host of Cheaters, some people were kind of surprised. Peter, hosting this show. But then others were like, oh no, it's about to get good. Because Peter, anybody knows the game, it's Peter. So I have a question. So how did this collaboration with you and the TV show Cheaters come about?
Well, the host before me, Clark Gable III, Clark Gable's grandson, he passed away, 30-something years old, very young. He passed away. And my manager, reached out to the show. Ken Hamilton reached out to the show and was like, "Hey, what you guys think about Peter Gunz hosting the show?" So the president, owner of the show, Bobby Goldstein, went into his office and asked his staff what they thought, and they all went crazy. So he flew me to Dallas, and the rest was history.
Yes. So let me ask you though. So I mean, did you watch the show Cheaters before you took on?
No.
You hadn't watched the show. Now I've watched the show. Let me tell you, Kyle. It was, or did we just catch the nice Peter in those clips?
They showed you. Here's the deal. This is a true story. So the show is saying that, Peter, sometimes you put a little gas on the fire. Like, we need you to be a little bit more host and not put so much, don't be so much an instigator. But that's the spiciness that comes with me. You know what I mean? When I'm looking at footage and I'm going, whoa, oh my God, you know what they was doing. It's just me. But I'm also compassionate. I've been down the road, man. I've hurt people. I've been hurt. So there's compassion there, and I'm older, but I also come with a little bit of street, and the previous hosts, none of them come with the street side of things. And, most of the people I bust are always like, oh, not you. If they're like black, young black people, or, people that watch Love and Hip Hop, they always, how you going to do this? Gunz, you the worst cheater ever. So I got to go through that. Then mostly we shoot mostly in Texas. It's a carry state. So I'm always worried about getting shot, so things like that. Then you got, being the first black host of the show. And this is important, what I'm about to tell you was weird, because when I first got on to do the show, the hype, you saw all the press and trending on Twitter. Oh, Peter Gunz. So I went into the show bragging, look, y'all got the first black host. Y'all see what I'm doing. I'm bringing a whole different element. You see all this publicity. And the owner of the show said, Gunz, we glad to have you here. We love you, but don't toot your horn too hard. We were canceled in a few markets. Like, so in Europe, they ain't ready for, like certain places in certain, I don't want to say Europe, I'm not sure, but certain places are not ready for a black host, so they canceled Cheaters. So, so he was like, let's not toot our horns too hard. We lost a few markets overseas. But I still feel like they'll come back around once they see what I bring to the show and pick it up.
I think so too. And now, and you mentioned the state of Texas and people being able to carry the guns. That was going to be leading up to my next question. I mean, the stakes are high. People are very emotional. When they're emotional, they can be irrational, right?
Right.
And in a previous show, Joey Greco was actually stabbed. I think it was in 2003. So considering all those things and the nature of the show, what precautions do you and the production crew take to protect yourselves when you guys are filming?
Well, one time we was doing the show, this way, you never comfortable. First off, I'm not allowed to carry a gun because I'm a felon. Once you get a felony, they make it almost impossible for you to get a gun. So I'm a violent felon. I had a gun charge in New York. So that's on my record. So they make it hard for me to carry. So everybody else around me, I have to make sure they're right. So they have a bunch of security around me. But one time we shot a scene in a particular episode, and we ran down on somebody, and it wasn't him, but his cousin or somebody next to him was gripping the gun. Like, yo, if they don't get out of here with these cameras and this and that. And I was on edge because, I'm from New York. It's not that easy to just walk around gripping a gun openly. So it was actually my first bust. So I looked so nervous. I was so mad at the first episode because I was scared to interject myself as a host because I was too worried about the dude with the purple shorts that got his hand and got his gun out.
Wow.
So when we get back to the office, since it's our first bus, we have a big meeting afterwards, and everybody's like, Peter Gunz, you seemed a little withdrawn at the scene and this and that. And I went in and I was like, yo, dude in the purple shorts had a gun on him.
Yeah.
I was shook. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm arguing with his cousin. He got his hand on the gun. I'm not from that. If somebody got their hand on the gun, anything can happen. So I was like, it's like, I know I got security, but who in here got a gun? Everybody in the goddamn on Cheaters raised their hand and showed their guns. Like, it's like everybody was strapped. So I'm like, I'm the only person that's strapped around here. And they started laughing. So you got like 13 people with me. So, and I got like 3 security on me at all times. So they was like, don't worry, we saw him, keep it going. So after that, I started getting a little more comfortable. But it's one of those things, it's not much out here. So I actually like doing the show. I've been down the road so I could be in a situation where I'm compassionate towards people that happen to. And then when 2 dudes is trying to run game, I'm like, dog, I told that lie before. I know that lie. I know the old You know what I mean? Put the girl name as a dude in your phone trick. Stop it. So I get to do a little bit of that, you know, without throwing stones. I'm not throwing stones at you, bro. I did the same thing, but I'm here to do my job.
Okay. And so, and speaking of doing your job, I'm just curious if you could kind of give us some behind the scenes of what happens, because we just see all the edited versions. So when there's a couple or maybe a woman comes to the show and was like, I think my man cheated on me, and you guys get all this idea, how long, because we just see it like in an episode, but how much filming actually happens to put that episode together? Because you guys are doing surveillance, y'all doing a whole bunch of stuff. So how long does all it really take to make an episode?
It's a lot, you know, it's a lot, but it's not, I have nothing to do with that process. I come in, I see the case, I see the footage, and I go. But if the team has to go and ask for permission to surveil people's places and do interviews, I'm not there for all of that. When I get there, when it's all done, and I go over the case and I meet the young lady and I, you know, when I tell her what I seen and what it was. But that stuff, that's a long process. We've been shooting. So here's the deal. I got there in January to shoot, right?
Okay.
Supposed to wrap in July.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't be wrapped till January.
Okay.
COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new producer, and it's me, so we both like wet, you know, behind the ears trying to get a show done. And I like it in a way because we bring in our own flavor. And I was able to just, you know, be myself. And the guy that cuts the checks that owns the show, Bobby Goldstein, today called me and said, I have no complaints, zero complaints about you. You're doing a wonderful job. Keep up the good work and get ready for next season. So that was good, you know, a good sign. And, you know, because everything I had lined up for this year came through except Cheetahs. I was supposed to do another season of Love and Hip Hop. I was supposed to do a radio show on Rock the Bells with Eric B. On Sirius XM. All of that caved in. So the only job that was still on the table was Cheetahs. So so I'm luckily so, you know, I got these mouths, I got these babies.
Yes, you do. And I'm so glad that, I mean, you stand up, you talking about, you know, you got to take care of your kids, which is really commendable. But I want to, when we talk about COVID and things like that, has COVID, I feel like everything happens for a reason. Not that COVID should have happened for a reason, but it's probably changed your work schedule. It sounds like it's allowed you to really dive deep and dig your heels in Peters. So not only just being the host, but now helping with some production. Is it also allowing you to spend more time working on music or creating other projects or spending time with your family? How are you spending your time outside of Peters these days?
Well, yeah, you know, music. I do music with God. Music is my first love. You know, I'm a musician. I play, you know, multiple instruments. I write a song a day. Music, I would do music even if I never put no music out. I got thousands of songs written and stuff to put out, but I would do music any day. But yeah, it's making me a better musician. Like I'm not a guitar player, but I've gotten much better on the guitar. I'm writing a lot of songs. I'm learning programs. Yeah, you know, you spend more time with the family. You take a lot of things that you took for granted. I took a lot of things for granted that, you know, simply going downtown to live jazz music clubs and going to concerts and being able to move around. It was like taken for granted. Now I miss not being able to do those things. So COVID just put life in perspective for me in the sense of you know, just not being able to move like I want to move and appreciating. So when things come back, I'm going to appreciate that life, being able to go down into Harlem and chill and, you know, and everything being open again. That I'm going to appreciate that so much. You know, a lot of people say, yo, you know, I found a new hustle. Thank God for COVID. I don't have that. I found new things. Yeah, I found ways to make money and do stuff, but I would much rather everything open, everybody back to work, everybody being able to move around like we used to over being locked down. You know what I mean? Now, being locked down for a minute, you know, it was fun. D-Nice, the whole quarantine, it was fun at first. It was like everybody was cutting work in school. It was fun. And then maybe a month after that, it got like, wait a minute, I'm over this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm over this. It's time to go back to work. It's time to get back to life. So it was fun at first. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely not fun having, things change on us, can't go where we want to go, when we want to go. Things, obviously we're having to wear masks for our safety, but just even how we move, even with the necessary things like going to the grocery store and, things like that. So
100%.
definitely limiting, definitely has a lot of its downfalls. And I'm going to just be quiet, keep it 100. Some of us are stuck in the house and we like getting out of the house because being stuck in the house with the people we live with sometimes for so long. Listen, you probably have a lot's going on with that. And I think people are.
You know the divorce rate is going up. The breakup rate is going up. But then you got some people that's like, yo, you know what? We figured it out. At this time, he want to watch his football, or I want to watch my reality shows, or I give them space. This day we do this. This day you figure it out. But you got some people that's like, yo, I can't. This is that's another thing. Of course, if you locked in with somebody, of course, But so that part of it, and then my mother's 81 years old, so when I go to New York, I can't really go up and see her. Because I can, if she's sick and if I pass COVID to her, it would take her out. Those kind of things is like it's nothing positive about that. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely not. The one thing I will say that may be positive about COVID is now people are going to be home. They're consuming a lot more entertainment, television, shows. I mean, I think some of us have watched everything on Netflix. So now, if anything, it's allowed many people to be more creative with how they deliver information and seek information. We're doing more Skype, Zoom calls, FaceTime. Everybody's doing we're optimizing technology. Is where I was going with that. But also,
another thing is reading a lot, and So here's the deal. So when you got a kid in 7th grade, 6th grade, and you can't help them out because you don't remember that math. That's another thing. Like I go to help my kids out with stuff, and I'm almost embarrassed to tell them I don't know how to do this. I don't remember this triangle with the numbers around it, geometry. So I gotta brush up and get back on my game because I don't. And then teachers teach them differently than how we learn things. So you got to learn how the teacher wants them to learn how to solve this particular problem. So that's the other thing. Homeschooling is a lot.
Homeschooling is definitely something that's newer to many of us. And like yourself, my sons, when I'm sitting, they're asking me about science and math. I'm just like, I don't know that I got to this level in high school. I don't know. But
I got a whole new respect for teachers. Whole new respect.
Yes, we definitely respect our teachers. They are underpaid and do so much. And now we've had to take on that role. But now, Peter, so before we let you go, just curious, I know you said you have a lot of music. You haven't quite shared it. Would love to hear some of it. But any other projects or things you would like us to know about Peter Pankey or Peter Gunz? How can we support you here in the exam room?
Yeah, part of my contract, I had to use my real name.
Okay.
It was like, this is the new you. So we going with Pankey, and I had to sign the contract. So even though I run down on people, I go on Peter Gunz, aka Peter Pankey. They don't even like that. They just like you, Peter Pankey on Cheetahs. Yeah, man. I've written a couple shows. I want to do my own show, Guns Reloaded. Show a different side of me. I don't have no control over what you see on other shows, except Cheetahs. Cheetahs will call me, and I'll call them and say, hey, in editing, let's move this, because things get real. Things get real on the show. You'll see me throwing my hands all tight because a lot of times dudes just call you out, and me being from the Bronx, it's not easy for me to not accept that challenge sometimes when they're being disrespectful. So you're gonna see a lot of that on the show. So so I'm working on a new show. Of course, music. I would have put out music a long time ago, but I looked so bad on Love and Hip Hop. Not that I deserve it. That when before people could even hear my song or see anything else I'm doing, they would just bash it. So I got gun shy in putting out music because I didn't want people to keep bashing my music just off of what they saw on Love and Hip Hop, not really giving my music a fair shot. So I kept it all to myself. But I'm confident in a lot of the compositions I wrote, singing, rapping, all of that, playing all my own music. A little bit. I can hold a note if you put it in the bag and give it to me.
Okay.
But no, it's I sing rappy. I've been doing that forever. I was doing that a long time ago. But Even if you look back in Uptown, baby, I was singing. New York niggas got crazy kids.
Okay.
So that type of, rapping and singing and composing a lot of compositions. And I'll put them out, now that, things are easing up a little bit. People still like, what are you doing on Cheaters? But things are easing up a little bit. So I'm going to shock them with a couple songs, including the theme song, The Cheaters. I'm about to unleash that.
Oh, you going to do the theme song to the show too?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's fine. I'm confident and people are gonna like that.
Right. Well, Peter, I mean, I've been watching you listen to your music and I watched you on Love and Hip Hop, and I'm seeing you now on Cheaters, and I do believe that everyone has the ability to grow and to change, and so I'm pretty confident and sure that you've grown and you've changed and you're sharing so much with the world, and so we would be delighted if you could share your music. We'd be happy to post it on our website, share it on our YouTube page, and put it in the show.
Definitely gonna send it to you. Definitely gonna send it to you, and again. Look for that, the music, and then the show that I'm going to probably end up financing myself. If no one else wants to do it, I'll do it myself. It'll be Gunz Reloaded. I'll tell my story from my side, and you'll still have the kids, and you'll have Amina and Tara to tell whatever they want. Yeah. It's gonna be called Gunz Reloaded. So look for that, and just that's it, man. Positive energy, trying to do the right thing. Even when you're old, you still a work in progress. So I'm doing a lot better. And that's it, man. I wish everybody the best through this pandemic. Hopefully, things get back to normal. I wish you and your family the best, and I hope my city, the best city in the world, New York. Come on, man, we got to come back strong.
Coming back strong. Well, Peter, we love it. Thank you so much for taking your time to talk with us here in the exam room. We are here. You guys, make sure to follow Peter. We have his social media handle down there. You can see his Instagram, Peter Gunz 174. And then also, please make sure to check your local listing and visit cheaters.com. Thank you, Peter, so much for joining the show. We will keep watching you and supporting you, and we'll be on the lookout for that music. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. So this has been a good show, a great wrap up. And one thing I do want to say, and I think the theme has been consistent through the show. Peter talked about it, about possibly creating his own show. Gunz Reloaded, we heard from Carlos King talking about the shows that he's working. He owns his own production company. And even Dr. Corey, our media psychologist, talking about how media impacts our mental health and well-being, and how he's also looking to create content. So we are still a whole family of content creators. And if you notice, one thing I'm always asking the guests is, how can we support you? And as Black independent creators, your support is critical. It's the lifeline that allows us to share and bring new and create new content. And so let me go ahead and throw it out there that I too am independent. This is a Nurse Approved Productions. So it is a show by me, for me. Obviously, I do have a wonderful team who you'll see in the credits there. But please, if you guys can support the show by sharing this video, liking, subscribing to it, writing comments on our youtube.com/Ask Nurse Alice, as well as our Facebook.com Ask Nurse Alice, and show the love, because your support would mean everything to me, because I am trying my best to bring important health and wellness content information about love and lifestyle, politics and pop culture and all of those things, so I can talk to you here as people before you become my patients. Because once you're in my ER, my ICU, that's a whole nother conversation. So please make sure to continue to support this show. It's on every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tell Alexa, Siri, put it in your calendar, tell your kids to remind you, your coworkers, start a watch party. But you want to make sure that you tune into The Exam Room with Nurse Alice every Monday. And as well, let me give you a little teaser, because we're doing it here. Next week, we have another amazing lineup for you. We have the multi-platinum award-winning group 112, who will be coming and joining us, chatting with us. As well, we have Dr. Ian, the best-selling author and new host of The Doctors, as well as Valerie Wiley of Dakota Gray Interiors with some do-it-yourself holiday hacks. Guys, I have enjoyed my time with you, as I do every Monday, because we stream this live. But I want to say, until next time, please make good choices, wash your hands, wear your face masks, and be kind to one another. And most importantly, live well, my friends.